What's going on YouTube? Calsoscoped back with another video, and today we're not even in Photoshop. We hopped in Blender, and the reason is I'm going to show you guys how to do a basis of 3D text in Blender. Like I said before, I'm no pro in Blender or any 3D softwares like that, but I will give you guys my knowledge and insight on what I know so far. So let's get into it. And if you don't know what Blender is, it's a free software that you can just download on the internet. Just search it up. It's no cost. So, and all the assets that we're going to be using in this are all free. So there's no excuse why you can't make this. Make sure you guys drop a like, share with a friend, share this video, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I see that a lot of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you know whenever I upload a new video or I go live. I don't want you guys to get too confused or anything like that. So I'm going to go over like just a couple things that you can utilize in Blender and just really the basics. So the mode that I'm in right now is called object mode, and what object mode is it's literally like where you're gonna move most of your objects and make transitions or rotations to your object. If you are to press tab in Blender, you go into edit mode, and this is more on the side of when you're gonna be cutting things and splitting things and extruding different types of things. But like I said, don't get too confused because I'm going to tell you guys when you are going to go to this mode. Just remember that you hit tab to enter edit mode, but I'll repeat that. Also, you have your axes right here. You have X, Y, and Z. If you are to click on any of these, like the Y, the X, the Z, the view snaps right to that. So remember that. And then one other thing that you are going to want to know to start is how you are going to scroll. So pretty much scrolling is just, you're gonna click the scroll, you know your scroll wheel on your mouse in the middle? You just click that down, and then if you drag your mouse wherever you want, that's where you're gonna scroll. And this is gonna come in handy when we start making the text and you just wanna check the bevel depth and yeah, just really the bevel depth. Yeah, so as we go along in this tutorial, I'll just tell you guys some other things. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to delete the cube. Oh Lord. To delete the cube, all we're going to do is press delete and make sure we're still in object mode. So if you had switched to edit mode because you were just testing it out with tab, just press tab to get back to object mode. Click on this cube and we're going to press delete. Now we will press Shift A, and what Shift A does is allows you to add objects quicker. So what you're going to do is you're going to press Shift A, and in this case we're going to be adding text. So just add text right here. Like that, and now we have our text. Now what you're gonna want to know about the text is that you can rotate it, and I want to rotate this on the x-axis. Understand that the x-axis is red, y-axis is the yellow one, and you can't see it right now, but the z-axis is blue, but you can't see it right now. But what we're gonna do first is rotate this on the x-axis. So R is a shortcut for rotating, so we're gonna press R. Then we're going to press X 90, and it's going to get our text rotated. Now we're going to go to this A font right here. See this A symbol on the right? We're going to click this, and we're going to start centering our text and all those types of things. So first thing I'm going to do is go to my paragraph section right here. Paragraph, the drop down, hit this drop down. This is alignment. Make sure you're still clicked on and you're not in edit mode. We're going to put this horizontal to the center. We're gonna center the text. First thing I want to do is edit the text to what I want it to be. So I'm gonna enter tab. I'm gonna press tab to enter edit mode to edit the text. So press tab. Then I'm going to just backspace on here, and I'm going to also go to my font because I want to change the font. If you go to the fonts, just use regular. And you're just gonna open a file. So open this, like right here, open this folder, and I'm going to import my own font that I have downloaded. So you gotta just download a font that you want, unless you want the generic ones, which I don't really suggest. I'm gonna use Burbank just for title purposes and thumbnail purposes. So I'm gonna import Burbank, and I'm gonna type 3D text. So that's gonna work for me. And that's what I want to have. Now I'm going to get out of edit mode, so let's press tab. We're going to mess with the geometry of this 3D text that I just typed out. So the first thing that we're going to do is extrude it. So go to geometry, and for extrusion we're going to type 0.08 and then press enter. And this is going to extrude it 0.08 meters, I guess. So that's going to extrude it, and that's what we want to have there. Now we're going to have our shape. We're going to drop down open, and for the fill mode on this first text, we're going to have it to none. Okay, so it's just going to be the outside in the extrusion that we had. So that's all it's going to be for the first one. Now don't get confused here. All you're going to do is duplicate it, and to duplicate in Blender you just press Shift D. Okay, so we're going to press Shift D to duplicate it, and you see this would be duplicated. If you just drag, don't have to click anything yet, but if you just right click, it's going to center it to a duplication. So right click once you press Shift D, and then this is going to have the duplication. Right click, so it's still there. You can see it's still there. All right, so on the layer that we duplicated, we're going to put the fill mode to both. Then we're going to change the name of this font, or the name of this filled text, to inside. And then the text that is on the outside that's just extruded, we're going to press outside. Now let's stay on this outside text, and we're going to go to geometry. All right, so we're going to stay on the outside, and for the depth we want to have a bevel here. So I think 0.01 will be enough to bevel. Yeah, I think that'll work. So just go to bevel and stay on round, and 0.01 meters is going to be your bevel. All right, so now like our text is like set up for what we want to do. The next thing that you're going to do is create a mesh from both of these. So just do it one at a time. Click on inside first, and then click on inside in the scene collection up here in the top right, and then you're going to right click, and you're going to convert it to a mesh. And what a mesh is going to allow us to do is change the surface of it and the materials and everything like that. So just convert it to a mesh. And then for the outside, we're going to also convert it to a mesh. So right click, convert to mesh. All right, don't lose me here now. Now we're going to add two separate windows though. Don't lose me, all right? We're going to go to the top left, and we're going to see that when this crosshair comes up, we're going to drag this out. And this is going to add two separate new windows, okay? So now there's two separate windows, and then we're going to add one more. So go to the top left again, and now this time drag down. All right, don't lose me there. All right, let's make sure you guys got that down. So just go to the crosshair and drag down, or drag across once and drag down once. So now we're going to change the editor type to, we can do UV editor. No, we'll do UV editor down here. So just click this part right here, and then you're going to go to UV editor. Then click the top left again to see the view, and we're going to go to shader editor. And now when you're in shader editor, just press N, and N brings up your active toolbox. So you can just press N, and that'll get rid of the toolbox, so you don't have to see that view. All right, we're going to import a world environment. So what you're going to do is download the world environment that I have in the description. You're also going to download the textures that I have in the description, but you don't have to do it yet. Right now we're just going to add the world, so we are going to do that. Make sure you download the HDRI that's linked in the description. So the first thing you're going to do when you download it is right here where color is, click on this yellow circle, and we're going to import an environment texture. So click that. Now when we're on this environment texture, you're going to open it, okay? So open wherever you save the environment texture, and if it's a zip file, make sure you unzip the file. So make sure you do that. I have mine, and I'm going to import it, and it's called Mio Road 4K. Open that image. You don't got to mess with any of these settings right here. If you want to see what it's going to look like in light, you're going to go to the top right. These are all your views. So this would be your rendered view on the end right here. So just click that. And this is the environment that it's in. Already looks pretty cool. So once we're in this viewport, you can always switch back to the other viewports, up to you. This viewport actually uses most of your PC, so maybe you don't want to use it out the bat. But we're going to add the shades, or the textures now. So let's get into that. So let's do the outside textures first. So outside, we're gonna go in this shader editor, and we're gonna add a new material. So just click new right here. So after you have added the material, press Shift A, and we're gonna search for an environment texture. Place that down, and then now we're gonna open the textures that I told you guys to download. First one's gonna be the metallic texture. So go to wherever you downloaded it and import the color map for it. Yeah, so we're gonna be using color, metal, normal, and roughness. So we're gonna have 4 in total, and we're not gonna use displacement though. So just open the color one first and link that to base color. And then just like magic, but it doesn't look good yet because we haven't had the other ones. On this color one, just press Shift D and duplicate this 3 times because we're gonna be using 4 different things. So now instead of color, we're just gonna go what it tells us. So we're gonna go metalness, click that, and we're gonna link it to the metallic part. These are nodes, so you just link nodes to where they're supposed to be. Now this is gonna be the roughness part, and link the color to the roughness. Okay, and then the last one is going to be the normal, and this is going to be a little bit different. So normal, you're going to link normal, the color to normal, but in this case we're going to also add a normal map in the middle because it just like messes it up. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. You just press Shift A, type in normal map, and you're going to put that in the middle of these nodes right here. And now the only other thing we have to worry about or just do is change the color space to non-color, besides everything that is for color, which is the first one only. So there we go. That's how you're gonna do the metallic texture. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to change the color if you really wanted of the metallic texture. I like to usually use like silver, so I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So you're gonna press Shift A, and then you're gonna search for your color ramp, and then put the color ramp in the middle of these 2 nodes, just like that. And then automatically this makes it silver because it's a black to white gradient map. But theoretically, if you wanted to change your color, you see these sliders, it's just like Photoshop a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of just like Photoshop with the gradient map. So you would just use these sliders, and then you could just change the color and tone of what you want to have for your text. So keep that in mind if you want to change the text color, but not a must. All right, so that's looking good. The only other thing you want to do on the outside is you're gonna make sure you're still on your outside, and then you're gonna go into edit mode. So you're gonna press tab, and then from tab you see you're in edit mode, so you have everything there. Now you're gonna press A. What A does is it selects all, so it selects all of what you have on the image. And what you're gonna do is press U, and then you're gonna pretty much unwrap it, but we're gonna go to Smart UV Project, and then you're just gonna press OK. And now this unwraps it, and this is gonna make it so it's more spread out across the surface of our text. So you're just gonna press S over here when you have it all selected, and you're just gonna scale that up quite a bit so that it wraps a little bit better over everything. All right, so now we're gonna do the same exact thing for the inside. So we're gonna add our material once again. So we're gonna still be in our shader editor. We're gonna add this, and we're gonna add the material. This time we're gonna add the plastic one, and I'm gonna speed forward through this one. If you get confused, you can just ask me questions, but I just don't want this video to be super long. Remember, just import your environment texture, and then you're gonna link only on this one. Oh, I'll just show you guys the first one. So what you're gonna do only on this one is you're only going to link for the plastic. You're only gonna link the color, normal, and roughness. So there's only gonna be 3. So just link color to color, normal to normal, and roughness to roughness, and put the normal map in between. So you press Shift A, then search for the normal map, put that in between the 2, and set your sRGBs to non-color. In this case, I probably want my text to be like lighter. So I'm gonna add another color ramp, Shift A, search for it, and I'm gonna go to color ramp, put that in the middle once again. And I think I'm gonna go with something brighter. Maybe like, let's go with like purple. All right, let's go with like purple, and we can drag this, make it more of a gradient. All right, now pay attention to the next step as well. The next step we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to our like navigation over here that lets us adjust our materials, and we're gonna go to our, what is it? It's our little camera. It's like a DSLR camera, so go to that, and we're gonna turn on some things. We're gonna turn on ambient occlusion, so just click that. Ambient occlusion makes the shadows, see the shadows are like touching. That's where you get those dark surface shadows. We're gonna turn on bloom. Oh my gosh, and we're gonna also turn on screen space reflections. So those three things already make it look really, really good. And then we're gonna go to our drop down, which is film, and we're gonna turn this to transparent. Okay, so now we have it transparent, so that when we go to save the PNG, we can save the PNG. Now at this point we could be done, but I'm gonna show you guys how to sauce your text up. Of course, that's what we do over here. So what you're gonna need to do this is go to Y and click our Y. Make sure we're just flat on this text, because we're gonna go into tab mode and make sure that we can just pretty much just move these letters by themselves and not as a group. So what we're gonna do for that is we're gonna go first, let's click on the inside. We're gonna press tab to go into edit mode. Press tab. Then we're gonna press A to select all. We're gonna press P after that, and we're gonna separate by loose parts. So P. So remember, tab, press tab to go into edit mode, press A to select everything, press P, and then we're gonna separate by loose parts for the inside. And then we're gonna go to the outside and do the same thing. We're already in edit mode, so just press P and A. Make sure everything's selected. All right. And then we're gonna separate by loose parts again. And just sometimes like it takes a couple tries to do it, but now we're gonna go back to edit mode, so object mode, so press tab. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to our Y, and then this is like when you're in object mode and you're on this tweak right here, just stay on this, and we're gonna drag, just like in Photoshop you would drag that down to select only like the text right here, the only one letter at a time. And you're gonna press Ctrl J, and this is gonna link the outside and inside together. But sometimes you get this little error message, see the active object is not selected. It's really annoying, but just you have to keep doing it until it works. Honestly, that's just the best way. And what I've noticed is if you click on it first, like click on one of the parts first, and then you go and do the drag, and then press Ctrl J, it links it usually every time. So press Ctrl J, and just do this for all the letters separately. Okay, and now what you're gonna have is you're gonna have these separated by themselves. So this is gonna allow us to make sure you are hitting that scroll, that middle mouse button, that scroll wheel. Click on that and drag. Now we're going to be able to move these by our leisurely. So the last thing that you're gonna really need to understand is how to rotate text, and that is just with the R shortcut. But you don't want to start moving things like in 3D space just wherever, because that's just gonna give you a bad result. So what you're gonna do to move things only on their own axis, like we had done before when we press RX to move it strictly to the axis, we're gonna do the same thing. So we could just press R on this 3D right here, and we could press X, and this will move it on its own axis. So if you did the RX, that's going to move it on the X. RY, it's going to only move it on the Y, and then RZ is going to move it only on the Z axis. And another thing that's really going to be important is that you learn that if you press R or whenever you're moving something, and then you press Shift and then the coordinate, like if it's X. So if I press R and then I press Shift X, this is going to only move it. It's not going to move on the X axis. It's going to move on the Y and Z axis. So whenever you press Shift and then you press an axis, it's going to move it on the other two. So if I were to press RY, it would move it on the X and Z axis. So keep that in mind, and then you're just going to have to experiment with what you want to do with your text. Like at this point, it's kind of up to what you want to do in moving your text. But remember those key things. You can always move it just on the axis if you really want. Like I like tilting mine and stuff like that. And before I forget, one other thing you're gonna want to do is when you're moving your text and you see this like orange dot, we can get into that more in depth later on, especially when I learn more about that orange dot. But it's like where you move things to like an origin. So if you were to move this 3D, you could set the origin to the geometry. So if you set that to the geometry, it's gonna move like actually about this point. If it wasn't set to the geometry, and I moved it, it would be just moving to that point. So make sure you right click and set the origin to geometry most of the time, unless you want to do something different, but most of the time you're going to want to do that. And also, why is this below? So at this point, just play around with the text. Like, I can't tell you what you exactly have to do to move your text in a cool way, so you're gonna have to just experiment with it with yourself. But right here is where you're just gonna really experiment and have some fun. All right guys, last step, rendering this out and shade and adding the, oh god. So the last step of this is getting our camera. So to get our camera, we just would press zero on your number pad on the right, like on the right of your keyboard, our number pad. And that's where our camera is now. And that's obviously not where we want it to be. So stay in this, and then we're gonna press N. N's gonna bring in our transform and our like little toolbox that we can use. Now lock this to the camera to view. Lock it to that. And then we're gonna scroll in with our scrubby zoom on our mouse. And then we're gonna do the same thing we were doing to rotate around. Hit that scrubby wheel in the middle and drag down. And this is gonna allow us to actually pick our own angle for the rendering. So once you get some type of angle that you really like, just play around. You can play around with the 3D cursor, you can play around with the view, all those types of things. So just definitely play around with that and experiment what you want to have. All right, so once you have your camera all set and you're like, all right, I like how that looks, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to this top part right here, this render part, and we're gonna go to render image. Okay, but first, let's go to our printout thing. So you see our printout thing right here? That's the printout little thing right there. And we're gonna go to output and drop that down. And now this output is wherever you're gonna save your file. So we're gonna output it to, you know, I have like a Blender save, I think. So just output it to somewhere where you know you're gonna find it really. And then once you find it, you're going to just press accept. And then after that, you're gonna change the file format to PNG, because if we were using this in Photoshop, we would want a PNG usually. Okay, so that's all good right there. And then after that, we're gonna go to render image, and there's our render right there. The only thing we have to do is save it. So what you're gonna do is go to image, save as, and you know, save it wherever you want. Like it could be the same spot that I just told you about before to save it. But yeah, so save it as whatever. So I'm just gonna say 3D text PNG, and I'm just gonna save that image, and that's gonna save it as a PNG. Now I could open it in Photoshop, and I'm just gonna open it in Photoshop just to show you guys. And there it is, man. As a PNG now, it's all set up. You got your nice bloom, ambient occlusion, your lights, and there it is, man. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it really helped you guys out. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. Join the Discord down below and subscribe if you guys are new. Till next time, man, stay scoped. Let me know what other tutorials you need. Peace.